So you almost died. Right?
Yeah, I almost died
Yeah.
multiple times.
Really?
Yeah.
When, where, why, how?
Yeah, I mean, there was a time I got hit in the head with a monkey wrench and my head split open.
Yeah?
Do you want to hear about that one?
Yeah?
Okay.
Was that...
It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, when, like, what year was that?
What year was that?
I'm interested because there was, like...
It's kind of all a blur.
Yeah.
I don't remember much after getting hit in the head with that thing.
I
and
bet.
Going to the hospital.
Because there was, like, a few years where you, like, disappeared and just, like, a black hole of information of what happened and where were you and what you were doing.
I disappeared off the face of the planet for a long time. My mom didn't know where I was. I just completely isolated myself off from everyone. And that's what addiction does to someone, you know? Like, when I lost my dad in 2015, that was a really big blow to me, but it was kind of like, grief is a very interesting thing because at first, like, I played it off like it was nothing. My mom wanted me to go to grief counseling, and she decided to do that for herself, and I was like, nah, I don't need any of that. Like, I'm good. Like, I can manage through this. Not realizing, like, that grief sometimes really hits you in sometimes a very delayed effect. So, like, I was in denial for quite a while, I think, of, like, how big of an impact that death had to me. Because I'd lost grandparents before then. Like, all my grandparents had passed away, but I think my dad and I had such a special relationship. Like, he's the one who got me into music. Him and I would hang out in the bar together, play music all night.
The bar as your garage.
The garage, yeah. Yeah.
That had a bar in there.
You've been there.
Yeah. It's very like a bar.
Yeah.
But you have to serve yourself.
The man cave, yeah. You
Yeah,
have to serve
the man
yourself.
cave.
Yep. So it was just like a kind of like special relationship I had with my dad. You know, he was kind of like my dad, but he was also like a really, like, almost a best friend. You know what I mean? Like, he showed up to all of our gigs, like most of my band stuff that I was in. And so, yeah,
He was like fun.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, he was cool. You know what I mean? Like, drinking beers with him in the garage, you know, stuff like that.
At the right age.
At the right age.
Yeah.
And maybe a year or two before. But no, yeah, so
Do you think some of that allowed you to kind of get more into an addiction?
I think my perspective on it was like, so I kind of actually started back when I started smoking weed when I was like 14, I think. 13 was the first time I smoked weed. And at the time, my parents were actually stoners. You know, they smoked with my neighbor, like in their garage all the time or whatever. And I think they were kind of hiding it from me a little bit. So when I got into smoking weed, tried it the first time, I like immediately found out that like I like stuff that gets me out of myself. You know what I mean? I like something that can take me away from reality. Like, I found out at a young age that that's something that I really enjoy. So I started smoking weed a lot. And I remember the first time I got caught, I was actually, it was probably my sophomore or junior year in high school. I was cutting like the first 4 hours of class every day just to go smoke weed.
Yeah, that'll get you.
Yeah, but I was still maintaining like good grades, you know what I mean? Like A's and B's, so I didn't see anything wrong with it. I remember, you know, my getting caught the first time was my mom came to pick me up from this park or whatever, and my eyes were just bloodshot red. And
she knew right off
she
the
knew
bat.
right away. She's like, "Why are your eyes so red?" And I'm like, my excuse I think at that time was, "Oh, we were eating Taco Bell and I accidentally squeezed the hot sauce packet into my eye." And yeah, she was not buying that. But
she's like, "I used that one before."
Yeah. But I remember like I was like scared I was gonna get into so much trouble, and my mom brings me into the living room and she's like, "Sit down right here," and like I turn the TV on, and she like brings me a big glass of Mountain Dew and she's like, "You just sit here," and like that was it. I was just like, watching TV and drinking
Like,
Mountain
why
Dew.
do you not get in trouble?
Yeah, I feel like I really didn't get in trouble that much, a little
Yeah.
bit, but they were upset, of course, but
Because you're 14.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But, my dad liked to drink pretty much every night.
Mm-hmm.
He would drink beers, and I remember catching him smoking one time, and I was like, why can he smoke?
But you can't?
But I can't. Yeah.
'Cause
I
you're
was
14.
Like, you're hypocrites. Yeah, but at the time, being a 14-year-old, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You don't look at the fact that it's because they're adults and you're a kid. Like, at least for me, I felt like I was doing everything I needed to do. I was going to school. I was getting fine grades. You know what I mean? My mom's, I think, told me, like, oh, your dad can smoke because he goes to work, he pays the bills, kind of thing. So I equated that to, well, I go to school, I get good grades, I can smoke weed. You know what I mean? Anyways,
I can see the point. Yeah.
Anyways, off on kind of a tangent there, but yeah. So I think
Hanging out with your dad.
hanging out with my dad gave me a view of, not that I didn't think my dad was an addict at the time. I had no clue what addiction was when I was 14, 15, 16 years old. I saw my dad paying the bills, working every day. He was a really hard working man, and I saw that he enjoyed to have a drink after work and take the edge off. So I thought that was fine, you know what I mean? And it was fine for me for a while. I was able to work and smoke and maintain a life and pay bills and everything, but it's when I started to look for an escape from reality. It's when I started masking the pain of losing my dad with the feeling I was getting from the drugs, that it really started to become an issue. So really, after my dad passed away, he had stage 4 lung cancer, and he was on medicinal marijuana, but he also was prescribed oxy, you know what I mean? Pretty strong pain pill. And at the time, I had dabbled a little bit with everything, cocaine, mushrooms, everything, even a little bit of oxy here and there. I actually, right when my dad got diagnosed with cancer is when I really, I think, started to, I think that's really where my addiction began to manifest, because I was already experimenting. I was buying pills off of a coworker that I'd known, and I was spending, like, at the time I was in sales, and I had a good sales background, and I was working for a company selling marketing and ads for, like, news websites across America, and I was making good money. Like, I was clearing probably $5,000-$6,000 a month, in commission, but I lived in a crappy 1-bedroom apartment, and 80% of my income was going to pills. And when my dad passed away, I took his oxys, and my mom didn't know. She had no clue that I was addicted to pills at that time.
Did she know that you took his oxys?
I think she found
She's
out.
like, where'd they go?
Yeah.
She knew. Yeah.
Yeah, so she found that out. I told her.
Now, how, like, from Zezbeth, from the band,
Yeah.
how soon after was that? Or when did you find out he had cancer?
So that was 2015. It was, probably, I mean, my dates are probably a little off because it was, 10 years ago now. But probably May or June. I mean, he got diagnosed, and then 6 months later, he passed away.
Oh, it was fast. Okay.
Yeah.
So he probably hid it for a while.
I don't think, no, I mean,
he didn't even know.
He didn't know. He thought he potentially had valley fever or something. Like, he felt something was going on. They found a mass when they did a scan, and then they tested it, and then that's when, yeah. So, like, maybe he was not feeling great for a while, but he maybe just procrastinated on going to get it checked out, kind of thing. But he was always, none of us would have ever guessed in a million years that he would have had cancer, and would have passed away as soon as he did, because you just couldn't tell. He looked completely healthy.
Yeah, I never noticed anything
Yeah.
being around him.
Right.
Yeah.
So then I think really like another thing is that just seeing how quick someone can deteriorate, like when they start taking chemo or doing chemotherapy and stuff like that, like he lost weight, shot down, like lost his hair, just like it was.
Well, he didn't have much there to start
to
with,
begin
right?
with, yeah, not much, but
he was a thin.
he was
guy,
thinner, yeah.
so.
But I mean, he lost.
I think it's like that bony.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
It's not fun watching someone you love go through that. So, that was obviously rough. But then also, I think what was rough too was just like the roller coaster ride of emotions of like hearing, oh, he's doing really good. Like he is almost done with his chemo, and his tumors are shrinking. Like positive news, thinking like, okay, like not accepting the reality that this person you love has stage 4 lung cancer and is most likely going to die sooner than you think.
90%.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
Like they just kind of pulled you along.
Yeah, that's what it feels like. I mean, it felt like I don't know if they were necessarily doing it on purpose, because I think, doctors, people that work in the nursing field and hospice and stuff like that, they want to give people hope, but like, man, it was just so, to say, oh, what happened is he finished his chemo, everyone was excited, like he's doing good, his tumors are shrinking. Like literally like a week or two after that, he had like massive chest pains and he was in the hospital in emergency surgery. I didn't know if he was going to die. I was at work at the time, at that job I was talking about, the marketing sales job. And I was already strung out, like smoking weed every day. You know what I mean? Like I was still able to function and maintain at work, and, was starting to dabble into the pills and stuff, but I had no more sick time. I couldn't take any time off. I was already like on a final written warning for missing too much work. And I get the phone call
because you're doing pills all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, why else would you be on a final written warning for missing work?
Yeah.
Being dope sick and stuff and not coming to work. You know what I mean?
So like hungover from pills?
Oh yeah, except
or like not like running out of pills.
Running out of pills and not being able to go to work because you're sick.
Yeah.
Sick. Like dope sickness is the worst feeling ever. And I feel like that people will do anything to avoid that. It's like such a strong part of addiction. Like that's like that's why I think opiates are hands down the worst, is because most people on opiates, fentanyl, heroin, whatever it is, it will do whatever it takes to avoid the dope sickness. Anything. Stealing from someone, stealing from your mom, stealing from your grandma. I've done all that. You know what I mean? Like that's
like how the devil really gets you.
That is the demon and the devil working within you through the drugs. I think fentanyl and opiates come straight from the devil. You know what I mean? Like, so, but yeah, so going back to my dad, he, things are looking good. The tumor's shrinking. You finished your chemo. And then 2 weeks later, he's in the hospital, emergency surgery. I'm at work, get the phone call from my mom, and they're like, or she's like, hey, just to let you know, your dad's about to go into surgery. He had chest pains. They have to remove fluid from his lungs kind of thing. And I'm at work, and I'm like, I just start breaking down. I'm like, I don't know if I'm be able to see him again, talk to him again. I don't even know if I can ask my boss if I can go leave to go see my dad, because I might just lose my job. So I just start bawling, like in the office, like just sitting at my desk crying. And a guy, one of my coworkers or boss comes up, he's like, dude, what's wrong with you? I'm like, I just got a call from my mom, like my dad's about to go into surgery. He's like, leave, dude, just go, like tell your boss and leave. So I told my boss, left. By the time I got to the hospital, he was already in the operating room. So I didn't know, if I was gonna be able to talk to him again, whatever. And obviously this was probably like the most traumatic part of the whole experience was seeing this was, you know, he gets out of surgery, he makes it, but he's on a breathing tube or whatever for 2 or 3, 4 days. A couple weeks, 3 weeks or so before this, I had bought Minnesota Vikings football tickets because we're from Minnesota. So I bought tickets for us to go see a football game, like my dad and I was really hoping, and it was the Cardinals versus the Vikings. I'm trying to remember. Yeah, it was like 2015. They were both having a pretty good season, and I got pretty good tickets, and I was excited to bring my dad. But I think the game was like 2 weeks out from when he was in that room, like with the breathing tube. So for like 2 or 3 days, wasn't sure if we were going to get the breathing tube out. Wasn't really sure what was happening.
Could he talk?
No,
he couldn't talk with the breathing tube.
Yeah, he couldn't talk. So like I was like, I'm never gonna be able to talk to my dad again, or tell him goodbye, or tell him I love him.
Well, he can hear you.
Yeah.
But he can't talk back.
Right.
Well, I don't know. Could he write? How was he communicating?
No, he was out.
He was pretty much out of.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was like in an induced coma.
Oh, okay. So you couldn't talk to him either.
Yeah, yeah. You know what I mean? So it was just a really scary experience, and whenever they would try to take the breathing tube out, he would like violently react, and like, so it was just really terrible to see all that, you know.
Did he ever get the tube out?
Yeah, so eventually they got the tube out. He was like, you know, seemed like he was doing okay. Like he was speaking, everything was fine, communicating. I think it was because the hospital had him on some very like high grade drugs and stuff. Yeah, that he was okay. But then shortly moved him to hospice after that. And what was kind of crazy is I was like really upset at the time, and obviously like I was in my addiction at the same time, so like I wasn't really, one thing I look back on sometimes and I have regrets is like I feel like I wasn't as present as I could have been like during that time, you know what I mean? Not only for myself and to be there and have time with my dad before he passed away, but also like for my mom too, you know, like because I have no brothers or sisters, it's just my mom, my dad, and I. So
was your mom there then by herself a lot, or
we had lots of family in, you know, like his parents, my grandma and grandpa, which is another sad fact, like they had to watch their son pass away before they did, you know, kind of thing. But no, there was a big rally of people there, friends, family, to support him like as much as possible, like going to see him in hospice every day. But you know, for me, like I couldn't go there. I just did not like that environment or to see him like that. So it was really hard for me to go as much as I should have.
You just ignored it.
I kind of just ignored it. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, not realizing how big of an impact it would have on me. So.
Because you like totally regretted that afterwards, you're saying?
Yeah, for sure.
That you missed those opportunities.
Yeah.
At the end.
Mm-hmm. I remember one day I came, and this was just like a day or two after I was just talking to him like normal in the hospital, and I came to hospice, and he was completely out of it. Like he was just incoherent, couldn't even formulate a sentence really, didn't know where he was. And I was like, I just can't be here. I was like starting to get annoyed, you know, like not annoyed, but frustrated, I would say, at the whole situation.
Yeah.
Like I was just talking to my dad a couple days ago, and how was he like this so soon afterwards?
After he finished chemo.
Yeah.
Like if you finish it, you should be good to go. Otherwise, like, why are you off of it?
Right.
But you can't like be on it for so long, right? Because you have to do like in stages or something.
Yeah, I think it's in stages and whatnot. I just don't know if I fully understood the gravity of the diagnosis, and you know, so. But I think everyone kind of like when you are dealing with a family member that has a cancer diagnosis, that everyone just kind of clings on to whatever hope that they can, and that's not a bad thing at all. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so I was just frustrated, and like I felt like I think the last time I saw him, I was more angry at the fact that he was how he was and where he was than of me wanting to be like, I love you, I'm here with you kind of thing. I was just frustrated. I was like, this is bullshit. Like, that he could be fine just a few, weeks ago and now be in this kind of state. So I left mad, I think, that night, or that day rather. I went to the football game with a different friend of mine that I bought the tickets for. Went to the football game. It was a great football game, kind of take my mind off of everything that's going on. And then as soon as the football game's over, I get a call from my cousin, Alex. He's like, hey, I need to come pick you up, go over to the hospice or whatever. And he passed away.
While you were at the game?
While I was at the football game, yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, so I'm kind of crazy. I feel like maybe he held on, like, to be with me in spirit at that football game. I feel like, you know, because
it would have been really hard to be there.
Knowing that he had passed away kind of thing. And I think my family understood that as well. So that's why they didn't tell me. But yeah, so that's kind of, I guess, how that whole process went down with my dad passing away. And it was just a lot tougher on me than I realized. So that's really when the addiction started to
Do you think like
off.
Doing the drugs into that helped mask the issue?
Oh, for sure.
And then you didn't realize it and you kind of just went further and further?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, it was helping me cope with the fact that my dad was going to pass away and he had lung cancer, you know what I mean? He passed away at 49, so pretty young age, and I think the drugs definitely did. And then, my mom, like I said, tried to get me grief counseling and tried to, she's been a faithful Christian her whole life. We didn't go to church a whole bunch like when I was young growing up. And I never really had a relationship or an understanding of who Jesus was growing up. I believed in God, but I didn't know what that looked like. I never really studied scripture, or I didn't really do any research into that. So all I knew at that point is pretty much what the internet and like social media and like what people in my life were saying about God,
Movies,
which gives you a very skewed view of like what God is, who Jesus is, who God, what I mean?
A very incorrect.
Yeah. So
version, understanding. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And for me at that point, I had a huge resentment towards God, because when my dad passed away, I was just, all I could think to myself was like, what kind of God would allow something like this to happen?
The one that allows his one and only son to die.
But at the time,
for everybody, yeah.
Right? Of course, and I understand that now. Looking back, 10 years later, in the time, I just had no understanding or no grasp of who God was or who Jesus is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's a bunch of BS. And
I had absolutely no spirituality really, and no faith, and really I stopped believing in God
altogether.
Which is kind of funny because, like, I would in one breath say, I don't believe in God, but then in the second breath say, like, I hate you, God. Why, God? Why would you do this to me? Like, I'm so angry. I'm so mad. Well, like, how can you hate something that doesn't exist,
Because somewhere in Scripture, I think it's written on your heart.
Yeah.
That, the laws and God and...
Right.
Yeah.
So I think that I knew, like, I didn't, like, not believe in God, but I was just really angry at God, for the circumstances that were happening in my life. So instead of, looking towards church or support group or anything like that to help with the pain, I just turned straight full in on the pills and drugs, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So that got me on a
spiral.
In a complete spiral, yeah. And they talk about the progression of addiction and like how quick and how deadly it is, and it's a true thing. So
Because I remember, well, it's like your dad died, and then like we were still hanging out from time
Yeah.
to time, going bowling and doing stuff,
Yeah.
hanging out.
we were hanging out every once in a while.
So you hung on there for a while.
I
and
did.
then all of a sudden you disappeared, but then I think you went to rehab and you came back and then you disappeared.
Yeah.
And then there was one time you disappeared and then you were gone
For a
until you
while.
finally came back.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like you were in Prescott, in and out of
Yeah.
rehab and stuff like that. So
Yeah, that's the kind of cycle that most people with addiction issues fall into, and it's really sad. Is you try to get help, you go to rehab or something like that, you know, you stay clean for 30 days, 60 days, you fall back in, you go back on and that's kind of how it started for me. My mom was trying to help me out. She got me into rehab. I wasn't really interested, I think, at that time in like fully receiving the help, because I was more interested in, it's sad because like at first it was to numb out the pain, right? Like the pills and everything and the drugs, but then it became a necessity to be able to live because of how strong the addiction is. And like you feel less normal not on drugs than you do on drugs. So like it was a crazy feeling. But yeah, you just get in that cycle. So like, I even remember a couple times, when you and I were hanging out, like you and I were still friends in my addiction even. And there were times where I was doing scandalous stuff that addicts do to support my addiction. And I'm sure I put you in some pretty uncomfortable positions.
Yeah.
I can remember one time when
I enabled. Yeah, it was terrible.
It's hard not to enable a friend or like a loved one that's an addict, because they'll say and do anything to get the next fix. You know what I mean? Like they'll promise you anything. Like this is the last time, or, I need money I don't even remember the excuse I used, but I think I asked you for some
like
money
good
to go.
excuses.
Yeah,
It's like,
to go get some weed or something,
like,
or
yeah,
I don't
that
know.
was dumb. Yeah. I should have saw that one coming.
Yeah. But that's how it is. And but again, the progression was just so fast and so bad that, rehab, I went and then I left, relapsed again.
When you come out of rehab, are you still like wanting to get more, or are you like you're trying to like first couple days
So
to be clean? Yeah.
So for me, I think the problem is I hadn't been like truly clean for such a long time. And like most rehabs and detoxes will medically detox you off of whatever drug of choice you have. So for me, for example, it was fentanyl and meth at the time and heroin. So they give you a drug called Suboxone to wean you off of the fentanyl so the withdrawals aren't as bad. So they give you this Suboxone and then they keep you on it for probably like 6 or 7 days.
It's like a pill?
Yeah, it's like a pill or like a strip that you take.
Okay.
And then it's to help with the withdrawals or whatever. So you take that. But the thing is Suboxone is essentially an opiate as well. It's just like it's a opiate basically that you can't overdose on. Like it has a ceiling effect. It's not technically an opiate. It's a buprenorphine is what they call it, but it affects the same receptors that the opiates do.
It's like a synthetic?
Yeah, essentially, well, I don't know it was manufactured in a laboratory, so yeah, it's synthetic, but it's like FDA approved to use in detoxes. You know what I mean?
Everything's
just like
FDA.
Yeah, just like methadone is, you know what I mean? And methadone's just as bad. So I think the point I'm getting at here is like when you go to rehab and you go to detox, they take you off of fentanyl and whatever, which is obviously much worse, but then they put you on all these detox drugs that are almost, in my opinion, just as bad, because for the longest time I just didn't know what I felt like without a drug in my body. Like I had no clue what my baseline was, like what it felt like to be sober or like normal, like truly sober.
Because you're not truly sober when you're in getting
Right.
sober.
Yeah, you're not. I mean, like, at least for me, most people, yeah, they get put on some sort of detox med, and most people will go on maintenance medication, which is fine. Like, it works really well for a lot of people. Like, some people stay a year, 2 years, 3 years on Suboxone and do great. But for someone like me, I didn't want to be on the Suboxone forever. So as soon as I started tapering off the Suboxone and I felt that little bit of dope sickness again, I was off to the races. Like, as soon as I felt that.
So, because you're getting out, you're not even completely clean once you get out, because
Right.
you're on that stuff.
Yeah.
Well, that sucks that you never actually get clean in sober
Most people,
living. And
I feel like most clients, when they, I mean, at least for opiate addicts, and that's what makes this drug also very hard to get off of, is like they'll go the route where they go on Suboxone maintenance. You know what I mean? Which works great for a lot of people. Like, I'm not trying to knock it at all, but like for my personal experience, like, it was just a crutch for me. And like, knowing that I had like the Suboxone to look forward to, and like the other pills, the gabapentin and all these other like non-narcotic meds that were essentially giving me the same feeling, you know, just like in my story, at least, I knew it was going to take like me going to jail or something, or
which you did end up going to jail at some point,
multiple
right?
times. Yes.
What were you charged with? Murder.
No,
Just kidding.
Nothing like that. Except almost murdering myself. But
yeah, I don't know.
No, there were misdemeanor charges.
Jaywalking.
Yeah, I actually,
Any like stealing? You steal?
Oh yeah.
You get caught for that, or?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
So I actually got 4 shoplifting charges within a month, which is really hard to do. But at that time, so my disease progressed to the point where I lost connection with all my family. You know, I burnt every bridge. I was on the street, homeless. I couldn't afford a hotel. I couldn't afford a sleeping bag. Like, that's how bad my addiction got, to where every single resource I had, I didn't even care about sleeping in a bed or taking a shower. Like, if I had my last $5 and I hadn't showered in 4 weeks or brushed my teeth, I'd spend that last $5 on another fentanyl pill instead of...
Now, who's selling you $5 of fentanyl? And
Oh, everyone. It's bad in Phoenix. Off of 27th Avenue was where I was homeless for... You know, it was a cycle of in and out of rehabs for about 5-6 years. But then when I finally... I had tried to get sober probably at that point 15 to 20 times in and out of rehabs and sober livings, and had been in and out of jail probably 2 or 3 times for like only a couple day jail stays, 7 days at a time. So like at this point I was just like, I had given up all hope that I would ever have a chance to get sober and stay sober, because I just felt like I had tried for so long and it didn't stick. The longest I had ever gotten sober was 6 months and consecutively. And I just gave up all hope. So
I want to jump back there, like,
yeah,
not to teach people how to find drugs, but how were you? I know you had some connections in the neighborhood of a guy that you would buy pills from, that they would get, I guess, from a prescription, and then they would sell them to you.
Yeah.
But they would run out, so then you'd have to get them from somebody else. And then somebody else they would just like give you another contact, and then eventually are you just buying it from other people on the street?
Well, yeah. So at that time, that neighborhood connect guy or whatever, I still wasn't like as far into my addiction at that point. Like, I think at that point I was maybe living with my mom, or still had a roof over my head kind of thing. But once we were selling credit card
processing at the time.
Yeah. Once you have that one connection and they run out of something, like you call around, you ask them if they know anyone else that, you know what I mean? It's just very easy to get sucked up into that world. But now jump up a little bit, when I was like homeless on the streets.
And you've got $5 and you're like...
On 27th Avenue in Phoenix, you can literally walk down the street a half a mile or a mile in any direction and find someone selling fentanyl pills for $1 to $2 a piece.
How long would that last you?
A pill?
Yeah.
Oh, at that time, I mean, I was going through probably 50 to 100 pills a day, easy.
Jeez.
So, yeah, I would say.
So that's $50 to $100 a day.
Yeah. Yep.
So 1,500. That's.
So I was supporting my habit with.
$3,000 a month.
Yeah, pretty much.
Jeez.
Yeah.
And then you're getting this money from
Panhandling and shoplifting, but mainly panhandling. That was like my go-to thing, was making like signs, you know, holding them on the side of the street, just the lowest of low that you could go. But I would like still try to have fun with it. You know, I would.
Did you use your sales
Yeah.
knowledge?
I would use my sales knowledge to make these signs.
You can tell me what your signs say?
Yeah.
Right.
I had a few really good ones actually. I made good money like doing this. Like, I had a sign that said "Too ugly." What did it say? "Too ugly to be a stripper" was one.
Yeah.
And then another one was I had one day I just got like 18 pieces of cardboard, and I wrote like a different message on each one of them, and I like had a couple markers and stuff, and I would just like walk down the street like throwing each sign up in the air or whatever as the cars pass by. And this was like 27th Ave in Peoria is really mainly where I was at. And then on the last sign it said, "I spent all my money on markers and cardboard. Please help. God bless," kind of thing.
That one work?
That one worked a little bit, yeah.
Okay.
But the best one I think I ever came up with was I found a stormtrooper mask in a garbage can. And I was like, what can I do with this stormtrooper mask? And I think I was tweaking or probably high on meth, but I came up with this great idea. I was like, all right, I'll wear the stormtrooper mask. I'll take off my shirt. I'll go make a sign. And I think I saw someone had a sign before, and like people in the homeless community holding signs would all kind of like get ideas off each other on what signs worked best, what spots, what corners. It was actually very territorial at times. Like some people would fight over what corners they can stand at.
What are you doing on my corner?
Yeah, seriously.
I've been here for a week.
Yeah, no, like I own this corner kind of thing. Like, or if you would try to like hold a sign on the same highway someone was holding a sign, like they would fight you. Like, it was crazy.
Yeah, don't take another man's money, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I found the stormtrooper mask, and my sign said, "Spaceship crashed, need parts. P.S. Please don't tell Darth Vader." And that was probably like my highest making money one that I did.
That's good. That's funny.
Yeah. One guy handed me $100 bill doing that one. I had that happen a couple times actually.
What kind of people
Yeah.
would you see, like, they give you
money?
Yeah.
A
People in
whole-
Teslas or like Jeeps or Corollas or
a whole different array of people that you can imagine with all sorts of different intentions. You know, I've had people roll down their window and hand me drugs while I was holding the sign. And I was like, sweet, that just saved me a step. Like, now I don't have to go find someone and spend this money. You know what I mean? I've had people give me food and stuff, which is great, you know, being homeless. But obviously, most homeless people don't want food. They don't. They can steal the food. They want money to get drugs. 100%.
Because you're stealing everything else.
Yeah.
You just steal the food.
Yeah.
Like from a grocery store?
Or, a grocery store or...
gas station or something?
Gas station, anything. And if you're even hungry at that point, because...
You're not hungry on drugs.
You're not hungry on drugs, usually. But no, like, many different type of people. Good-hearted people that wanted to, you know, actually help you out. Like,
I mean, like the Democrats, I'd imagine.
What do you mean, Democrats?
That want to help you out. They feel like giving you money will help you change your attitude.
Yeah. I don't know. Or people that just... Because, like, I'll tell you, like, when I was homeless on the streets, like, money I don't think I ever spent the money on anything besides drugs that I got handed on the street. You know what I mean? But the 1% of the time where maybe I spent a couple dollars to go get a drink or something or food, you know what I mean? So,
Were you doing this during the summer?
yeah, 120 degrees,
Jeez.
standing out in the middle of the heat. I mean, this stint was about 2 years long where I was like homeless, and I didn't have a place to sleep or anything.
You were homeless. Did you also go to jail at that time?
I went to jail.
So sometimes you were housed.
Yeah. I went to jail a couple times, maybe 2 or 3 times in that 2-year stint, but only stayed in jail for like a max, like at a week at a time. The time I got caught 4 times in a row for shoplifting, I stole a pair of shoes from Famous Footwear, and I got chased, like the actual employee chased me down. Like they literally got in their car and started chasing me. And I was like, wow, this is crazy. I had to hide in a dumpster. Like I found an empty dumpster and like jumped in there and hid.
And got away.
And got away until I went to go try to sell the shoes to someone, trade them for drugs or whatever. And then cops rolled up and they were like, that's a guy. And
Jeez.
Yeah, arrested me. Then there was this other time.
Like they were following you?
Yeah, or they had my description or something. I was on foot, so I couldn't really get out of the area quick enough. And I was like dumb at the time, so, you know.
Where were you? You just like sleep on the ground?
Yeah, so there was like one main spot I would sleep. I mean, underneath the tunnel of 27th Avenue in Peoria. There's like a tunnel under the highway that a lot of people sleep in. Abandoned buildings.
And you run into like a lot of other homeless people.
Oh yeah.
On drugs there, and you're like, you all kind of.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like, you all try to like stick together, but you're all just waiting for one person to stab you in the back and take your drugs or take your backpack or whatever. Everyone's addicted on something. You know what I mean? Like, so if you run out of drugs, like they don't care. If we were homeless and we're trying to stick together, like the drugs are the most important thing when you're in that kind of environment. So, yeah,
So if you have something, you're not going to be sleeping around with somebody.
No, a lot of the time I'd rather sleep by myself.
Yeah.
You know, unless it was someone like I had been rolling with for like, you know, a week or two, and I thought like I could really trust this person. But even then, you know.
Or they had their own stuff, so they didn't have to bother you about it.
Right.
Yeah.
So
after all of that, then what made you change?
Yeah, so essentially, there was about a 2-week span where I had people, when I was holding my sign on the street or like panhandling in front of a Quick Trip, like people kept saying, find Jesus. Like, you need to find Jesus. And I was just like, yeah, I'll find Jesus if you buy me some food or give me some money, you know, kind of thing. Like, I wasn't really, but I think this was the seed that God like kind of planted a couple weeks before I had this experience. You know, people were the ones that were helping me out, like giving me food or like genuinely like trying to help me, were the ones that were like you need to find Jesus, you know. And that Jesus was just kind of like a repeating theme. And for me, so going back to like AA, NA, and like Alcoholics Anonymous, Narcotics Anonymous, rehab, stuff like that, you know, in the steps, in the 12 steps, which is a program that really helps thousands of people get clean, and it helped me get clean as well. They want you to find God. It's essentially like principles of the Bible, like condensed into like an addict-friendly version kind of thing, because a lot of addicts have trauma with God or they're not religious kind of thing. So
can you list the 12 steps?
Yeah. One, admitted I was powerless to addiction, that my life became unmanageable. It's been a while since I've been to a meeting, but 2, came to believe a power greater than yourself could restore us to sanity. 3, made a decision to turn our will and our life over to the care of God as we understood him. 4, made a list of all people we had harmed and began willing to make amends. Oh no, that's 8. 4 is, put me on the spot here.
It's okay. How about we just look that up real quick?
Yeah.
Let's look them up. I'll cut this out. And then we'll just start over. I'll just ask you the question again.
I should know it off the top of my head.
And then I'm going to silence my phone here so it doesn't beep again.
Okay. Oh, yeah. That's the one I messed up. All right. So the 12 steps are: we admitted that we are powerless over our addiction, that our lives have become unmanageable is 1. 2, we came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. 3 is we made a decision to turn our will and our life over to the care of God as we understand him, which is kind of interesting because him is capitalized in the reading.
And how we understand
and
him.
how we understand
That's
him.
not
up
very
for interpretation.
Yeah.
Right.
I guess that would help anybody that's not a Christian.
Right.
Right.
Right. So
but
that's
not helping them at the same time.
Yeah. So for me, I think that was the step that I always struggled with. Just because, like, my understanding of God was essentially at this point just like the power of the universe, or like karma, or like things happen. Yeah, like things happen because there's some masterful force like controlling everything. Like I didn't have really any true understanding of what God was, you know? So I'm hearing about Jesus and stuff for like this 2 weeks.
What's 6 and 7, 8, 9, 10?
Oh yeah, let me finish them off.
Yeah.
Sorry. So 4 is we made a searching and fearless moral inventory of ourselves. 5, we admitted to God, to ourselves, and to another human being the exact nature of our wrongs. 6, we were entirely ready to have God remove all these defects of character. 7, we humbly asked him to remove our shortcomings. 8, we made a list of all persons we had harmed and became willing to make amends to them all. 9, we made direct amends to such people wherever possible, except when to do so would injure them or others. 10, we continued to take personal inventory, and when we were wrong, promptly admitted it. 11, we sought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God as we understood him, praying only for knowledge of his will for us and the power to carry that out. 12, having had a spiritual awakening as a result of these steps, we tried to carry this message to addicts and to practice these principles in all of our affairs.
I feel like you could do all those in like 30 minutes.
It's definitely not the 30-minute process. Yeah.
I mean, you could probably do like a simple slacking version of that.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's some simple versions of that, but like when I got clean this last time around, like the NA version, the Narcotics Anonymous version, like most people take 1 year to 2 years to do that. I mean, for someone like myself, making a searching and fearless moral inventory of yourself, there's a lot that goes into that. We're talking anything, any resentment that you've ever had towards someone, towards yourself, any fears, any sex inventory. Like it's crazy in depth how much a lot of these steps are. And like, yeah, the first few times I tried to do the steps, I probably tried to do them too quick. And like, that's why the program tells you to get a sponsor, to have someone who's been clean for a while walk you through them. You know what I mean? Like
that's found them and discovered them, and
right, that it's worked for them. You know what I mean? So the steps on paper, just reading them, isn't going to do anything. It's like practicing them in your daily life kind of thing.
Like practicing prayer and stuff. That's a daily thing.
Right.
That grows on you and helps you understand better.
Yeah, just like truly accepting that you're powerless over your addiction every morning, when you wake up. At least for me, like I know, like I haven't had like an urge or like a desire to get high, to drink or anything in almost 3 years. And I think it was, I mean, honestly, for me, it was getting to such a low point in my life, like finally hitting that rock bottom. And then that's what it is for a lot of people.
After those 2 weeks.
Yeah,
People.
after those 2 weeks, people talking about Jesus. And at that point, I was just so ready to. I mean, I knew in my head I had two options. I was either going to die, which I was totally okay with. Every morning that I woke up, I was upset that I woke up and that I was reliving this life again and again. It was like Groundhog's Day, every day on the street. Same thing, wake up, hustle to get that morning fix. You spend the whole day just hustling to get your next fix, screwing over anyone and yourself, having no moral values, you know, trying to rob everyone that you can to get your drugs, trying to, you know, sell yourself to anyone that you can to get your drugs kind of thing, like letting people take advantage of you, like lots of scary situations. Like I was just in an animal form of living at that point.
Did you ever?
It was really sad.
Did you ever get with like the illegal Mexicans and like help do construction?
Construction, no.
Or I mean, it's like one of those like jobs. Like, do you ever jump in the back of someone's truck?
Oh.
And like go do whatever they needed you to do,
yeah,
labor wise?
I was always paranoid. So the problem is, like, I had a couple people come up. Hey, get it. Like, hey, I got a job for you today. Like, get in my truck, kind of thing. And I've done it before. And like, then really what they want to do is like some weird stuff with you. You know what I mean? Like, so I was very paranoid of that. Plus, I knew I could make more money holding a sign than what they could pay me, and have it be easier. I'd much rather
stand there with
much rather stand there and hold a sign
than like dig a ditch,
and then make 20, $10 to $20 in an hour, which is all I need, and then go walk 15 minutes down the street to get my fix, then go dedicate a whole day of work. You know what I mean?
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah. So
2 weeks went by. People are telling you,
yeah,
find Jesus.
Find Jesus, find Jesus. And I'm like, okay, yeah. I even had this family at the Quick Trip on Peoria and 27th Avenue. They like, their whole family went there and they bought me food inside a Quick Trip. And then they like sat there and like prayed over me for like 5 minutes, like inside a Quick Trip. And at the time I felt so awkward and like felt so, and he kept asking me like, are you ready to accept Jesus in your life? Like, are you ready? Like he was like really in my face about it. And I was like getting really nervous. And I was like, you know, at that point I just wanted food or hopefully money, you know what I mean? And I was just like, I wasn't ready. I told him, I'm like, honestly, I'm sorry, but no, like I'm not ready to accept Jesus in my life. And I think it was 'cause I still, just still wasn't ready to get clean. I like was still in this mindset, like the devil had such a strong grasp on me through this addiction that like I was more interested in dying than potentially finding a way out of this lifestyle. You know what I mean? Yeah. It was.
Yeah, I mean, if the grasp is so hard on you that, I mean, that would be the devil's ultimate win, would be that you would die.
Right. Yeah, so I kept hearing this, and then it was, yeah, so like I said, like I was ready to pretty much, I had two choices. Like I knew what my two fates were. Was one, I had warrants at this time, like 2 or 3 warrants out for my arrest. One for like avoiding court dates and like another, one out of Prescott, which is a Yavapai County charge, is like a extradition type of thing. Like that county doesn't play. Like if you get in trouble in Yavapai County, like wherever you are in the state or country even, like they will fly you back to like do your time kind of thing. So like I knew like either I was one gonna die out here on the streets, or two, I would finally get caught up on my charges and I would go to jail. And like So this 2 weeks happens, and I'm going to my like normal spot where I usually sleep at night or like hide away at night, and I see someone there in my spot that I'm normally at that like I've never seen before. Couple people I was hanging out with. I come there. Here's this guy with like long black hair, tattooed up. I'm like, who is this guy? And they're like, oh, he goes by True or something, like on the streets. And I was like, okay. So I was sitting there doing my thing, you know, doing my drugs, and this other random homeless person kind of comes up. She's starting to do like her thing in the corner, do drugs, and like he looks at me and he's like, or he looks at all of us and he just looks at her and he's like, she's a demon. I'm like, what do you mean she's a demon? He's like, she's a demon. And like I get really upset. Like, how could you just call this person like a demon? Like, you don't even know who they are. Like, who they are. They're just homeless here doing the same thing we are. You know what I mean? Like, and I just kind of go on this like really like long philosophical rant and like how I'm sick and tired of people treating homeless people this way, and like how could you treat your own kind like that, kind of thing. And then he looks, and then like he was like, she's a demon. Like, she's not necessarily a demon, but she's possessed by a demon right now. And I was like, what are you talking about? And then that other homeless chick came over and she took my drugs and she ran away. And I was like, and he was like, see, like, she's a demon. She was possessed by a demon. Usually they leave their mess everywhere and then they just scatter and they take from you and leave. And like, that's exactly what happened. And I was like, okay, this is kind of weird. And then he sits across from me and he like stares into my soul, and we just have like this really deep conversation about angels and demons, and like the first like spiritual kind of conversation I've ever had, especially with like another addict. You know what I mean? Like on the streets, someone who's doing drugs with me right next to me. So like in hindsight, looking back at that situation, I look at it like, I think God sent me an angel, or like the only person that he knew could like relate to me and talk to me, you know, to get through to me. So he's sitting there looking into my soul, telling me, talking about how my dad's passed away. Like, he knew about my dad. He like at one point said, your dad's like up in heaven right now looking down at you, and he is crying right now because all he wants for you is a better life and to not live the life that he lived. And I can see his tears falling down on you right now. Like, he was saying like some really profound, like crazy stuff, bro, that was like making me tear up and like having goosebumps and stuff. And like, he would be like, you probably want to cry right now. Like, you probably have chills all across your body right now. And like, there was two people like sitting in the corner, like listening to this whole like conversation that I was having with this guy, and their jaws were just like dropped. Like, they were like freaking out kind of thing. It was crazy. So, I'd start talking to him about why I can't get clean. Why do I keep living this life? Like, I've been trying to get clean for such a long time. I've tried AA, I've tried rehab, hundreds of times. Nothing ever works for me. And he sits there and he's like, because, you know, the 12 steps and the rehab and all the programs, like, none of that stuff's going to save you, bro. Like, they want you to have your own understanding of God, but the only person that's going to save you is Jesus Christ. And then he just kind of like left it at that. And then I never saw the guy again after that. Like, literally he disappeared. Never seen him. No one's ever seen him again, like for the next week or two. So like that whole conversation like really like kind of stuck with me. And like, it was like it was just like such a profound experience. It was really like, I can't even really describe it.
Like it still sits with you.
Yeah. Like, it still does. Like, I truly believe that I think Jesus came down in the form of an addict and sat next to me and like spoke to me and like literally like tried to save my life. It's like how I feel about it. And a week later, I I was in that same exact spot that I was talking to that guy. And there's like about 3 or 4 of us homeless people, and the cops end up coming and raiding the spot where we're all sleeping there. And they ask for everyone's name. They're like, just give us your name. It's no problem. Like, we'll probably end up letting most of you guys go. And like, I knew I had warrants and one out of Yavapai that I knew that I would get extradited for. So I was trying to give him a fake name, and it wouldn't work. So I finally just gave him my real name.
What was your fake name?
I tried to use my old friend Justin Cooper's name.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. You remember him?
Yeah. Vaguely. But I remember, yeah. You know, when 3 Justins hang around.
I don't know why I was trying to do that when I couldn't even remember what his birthday was. So that clearly wasn't going to work.
What's your name? What's your birthday, date of birth?
Yeah.
They ask all those questions.
Of course, yeah. Social security number.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
So, yeah, I got locked up, and I'm in jail. And first they take me to, it's the new jail in downtown. Forget what it's called.
Phoenix?
Yeah, in Phoenix.
Okay.
But they take me there for processing, and I am like, I know at this point, like, I'm about to have the worst time, like the worst dope sickness I've ever felt in my life. They don't give you anything in jail at all. Unless you are on methadone on the streets, they're required to give you methadone in jail if you have like a prescription through a clinic or something that you're going to for methadone. But I already knew I was screwed. I was about to be going through it. So
how crappy was that? Did people leave you alone?
It was the worst experience of my life. So what happened was, they send me, I'm starting to get really dope sick, and like I'm puking and everything that comes along with dope sickness, you know what I mean? Sweating, convulsing, freaking chills, all that terrible stuff that comes with it. And
how long does that go for?
Oh, it can last like a week.
Okay.
2 weeks, yeah.
Well, that sucks.
Yeah.
Is it like really bad at the beginning, but kind of tapers off?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, it's more bad.
You're
like
vomiting
right at the
for 5 days straight.
Yeah, you can't keep anything down. Yeah, nothing. Not even water. Like, you're so dehydrated. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's such a terrible feeling. So I am detoxing, feeling really bad. I'm in this cell. I'm like puking on myself, all this shit. The
inmates getting upset at you because you're making a mess.
Yeah. The other inmates are mad. You know what I mean? It's a terrible situation. The bathroom floods in this stall that I'm in. Like, literally floods. Like, the water's up to my bed in this stall, or in this cell. And I'm like pressing the button. I'm like, hey, my bathroom's flooded. You know what I mean? And like, no one comes. Nothing. You know what I mean? I'm like, hey, I'm like dying. Like, my bathroom is like literally flooded. Like, I can't move.
You're sick.
I'm on my bed. I'm stuck on my bed, and I'm dope sick, and I feel like I want to die. And like, nothing. So like, I press a button again. I'm like, I'm going to kill myself. I'm going to kill myself, you know, like, and I meant it. Like, I'm ready to die, you know?
Yeah.
So they pull me out of the cell. They bring me to a suicide watch unit, which is in a different part of the jail. They strip you down of all your clothes. They put you in there naked with nothing but a like a tiny piece of cloth to like cover you, one that you can't like hang yourself with or anything.
Yeah.
And then they just lock you in there. You know what I mean? So yeah, at this point I can only describe it as like the most vulnerable, like lonely, darkest like moment I've ever felt in my life. Like, I'm completely naked in this suicide watch unit cell with no one in there but myself. You know what I mean? And
at least the cellmates aren't pissed off at you.
Yeah, I'm in a solo unit at this point. You know what I mean? There's a bunch of crazy people like in other units next to me, like singing, smashing their head against the wall, saying crazy stuff. You know what I mean? And I'm just in there like, just how did I get here? You know? And at that point, at that point, like I was finally starting to have a little bit of a clear mind, just a little bit. Like I was still detoxing and feeling really terrible, but something rang in my head and it was like, Jesus is the only one that can save you. So
It like
it was
it
like a
came back
voice.
to you,
It was like
yeah.
a voice in my head. Yeah. And so I just got down on my knees in that cell that night. And I was just like, all right, I've tried everything else.
Was the voice like James Earl Jones?
No, it was
No.
just, it was like the voice of that addict guy I met on the
Okay.
street, you know, I mean, like a couple weeks prior to that. But yeah, it was just, I got on my knees and I finally was like, all right, I will surrender my life over to Jesus. Like I've never understood Jesus or like never, you know, but if Jesus is the only thing that'll save me, it's like the only thing I have left to try. So let's try it. And then a couple minutes after that, like I just kind of felt like it was weird. It was like this natural warmth over my body. Like it was just like a big weight was lifted off my shoulder, and it was just like I felt it inside, and it was like everything's gonna be okay. I think everything's gonna be okay. So
Cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
I pressed
Hallelujah.
Yeah. I pressed the button and I'm like, I don't want to kill myself anymore. I'm ready to go back. And like they had to keep you in there for like 2 days or something to watch you, at least 48 hours.
How long were you in there at that time?
In the suicide unit
Yeah.
or jail in general?
The suicide unit.
I was in there for like 2 or 3 days.
And then 2 more days after that?
No, like 2 or 3
Okay,
days
total.
total.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So they finally brought me back to general population. I had to serve about 2 weeks in Phoenix. I called my mom for the first. She hadn't heard from me in 2 years. Didn't know if I was dead or alive. And I call her, and you know she's obviously like relieved to hear from me. Probably thought I was dead. And we end up talking a little bit, and she said something that also stuck with me. Was, you know, God, like, you don't have to keep punishing yourself, basically. Like, God has already forgiven you. I've already forgiven you. Like, it's time to forgive yourself, basically, is like the way she put it to me. And I just started to, you know, cry a little bit. I was like, yeah, like I've been punishing myself for such a long time, you know, like God has forgiven me for my sins. And I just felt like for some reason, like I had to be like punished, you know, for everything that I've done. And then she told me on the same phone call that she got diagnosed with breast cancer, and she was going to get it checked out. And I'm in jail, you know, hearing this.
Like, not again.
Yeah, essentially. So like in my head, I'm like, you know, like I've already lost my dad to cancer and I wasn't there for him, you know, really. And now I'm sitting in jail hearing, you know, that my mom has breast cancer. And like at that moment, like I made a promise to myself that like I would be there no matter what, like for my mom. And, you know, cause I put her through so much in my addiction. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I had her pick me up from a hospital after I got my head split open by a monkey wrench, just to get in her car while she was going to take me to treatment. I told her I wasn't ready to go get help. Or no, I'm sorry. I had her pick me up from the hospital. This was New Year's Eve. I woke up in the hospital with 3 fractured ribs. I'm like, how did I get here? They were like, oh, the ambulance had to cut your clothes off because they were full of blood and like strapped to your body. Like I had no clue what happened. I just woke up in a hospital bed. So I call my mom. She comes and picks me up. On the drive to rehab that she's taking me to, I tell her to stop the car because I'm not ready to get clean and I need to get high. And I walk out with nothing but my hospital gown on, and I just leave. And then like within 8 hours, I get my head split open with a monkey wrench because I guess I ended up robbing these people that when I was in my blackout for 2 days, and I woke up in the hospital. I guess I stole like a longboard or something from these people, and then I saw them again, and they were really upset about it, so they, you know, beat me up pretty good.
While you're in a hospital gown.
While I'm in a hospital gown, and I'm back in the hospital again 24 hours later. Like, I put my mom through the worst of it, you know what I mean? Like, she is just amazing and God sent that she stood through, like, you know, she had to, for a long time, she had to learn how to not enable me. She had to learn how to disconnect and leave it up to God to take care of her. And I'm sure that was such a scary moment for her, because she probably at that point was like, I could be saying goodbye to my son forever. You know what I mean? Like, it's really hard to navigate how to love an addict, like from afar kind of thing. But like, that's what I needed. I needed to, you know, find my rock bottom and then come to be able to find Jesus on my own in order to like find salvation, you know. And my mom, you know, gave me the space to do that. I'm sure it was really rough on her, but so in that moment I made a promise that I would, like, you know, never go back, basically. Like, I was really going to give it 100%, like, for the first time in a really long time. And I knew I could, because I was finally going to be in jail long enough. I was going to be in jail for like 30 to 40 days to finally get all the drugs out of my system, which was a really huge benefit for me personally, because every other time I went to treatment or rehab, I would be put on all these detox drugs. I could never truly have a clean feeling, you know, without having to put something in my body. So, I got to stay in jail for 2 weeks in Phoenix, and then another 3 weeks or so up in Yavapai County in Prescott. The whole time I was looking up Bible verses. I was reading the Bible. I was looking up any kind of spiritual or religious stuff that I could. Went to treatment immediately after I got out of jail.
There's no like pastor or anything like at a prison.
A lot of jails have like pastors, or they have people come in and do like Bible studies, stuff like that.
Did you do any of that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
you had some guidance.
I had some guidance.
You're not just like opening the Bible and starting in Deuteronomy and.
Yeah. Well, we kind of were too, as we would.
Numbers where you're just.
Yeah. A couple of my cellmates and I would just open up the Bible and read a verse. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Every day. I just kind of like, the more I started, really what helped me was like, I started to kind of do my own research. I started reading the Bible. I started to get an understanding, I think, of like who Jesus was. I decided to go to treatment, get my life in order. Stayed in treatment for like a year and a half.
That's like tax funded, or is it?
Yeah, so I had access at the time, which, I mean, to get into that is like, for me, that whole access thing, I think, was more like, I'm grateful that I had state funded insurance and that I was able to go to treatment. But for a long time, for me, that was a crutch. I think I was using my insurance card as a hotel key card. And I think a lot of homeless people and addicts do that on the street. When they get to a point where they want to take a shower, they want a good meal, they'll use their insurance to get into treatment for a few days, knowing that they're not really ready to get clean and sober and like start a new life.
Take a break.
Just take a break, yeah. Like fatten up for another run is what they used to call it, which is honestly kind of a sad use of tax dollars.
Yeah.
You know?
That's terrible.
Yeah. I mean, people need the exposure and treatment, but a lot of people abuse it. You know what I mean? Like, use their insurance to, and there's a lot of scams around it too. Is like, there's a lot of people that at a time there was what was called body brokering, and people would literally get paid a commission to find an addict on the street to send them to a certain treatment center that their insurance would cover, like in California or Florida or something. Like, there were periods of time where hey, your insurance is covered at this place. Go to this treatment center, and when you leave, like stay there for like 7 or 8 days, and then when you leave, I'll give you 100 pills, like kind of thing, because they're getting paid a commission for getting people into their treatment center. You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
There's like those scouts. There's like scouts out there.
Yeah.
For treatment places.
Yeah. Crazy.
And then they're, damn.
Yeah. So.
Jeez.
It's yeah. So
where are you now?
So now, you know, my clean date is January 21st, 23. So it's about 2.5 years later. My first year in treatment was needed. I got really involved in a program of Narcotics Anonymous. I did all my steps with the sponsor. I started sharing my story at meetings. I started to go to church, a church called Heights Church up in Prescott. And then I just started to get into the Word, reading daily devotions, and like really, like the moment I finally like accepted Jesus as my higher power and as my God of my understanding, like I really haven't had an urge to go back at all. Like it's just been honestly a miracle. Like for how long I was in my addiction and how bad it got, like just to think that one night where I got on my knees in that cell and I accepted Jesus, and since then, like I haven't had it. Like it's a crazy thought to me, really.
Yeah, to think how we would play in a band back in the day.
Yeah.
And then you went the highway to hell.
Yeah.
And back, and then I went kind of a more easier path, but then ended up in the same spot.
Yeah, how we both ended up to really finding and accepting Jesus in our life, you know?
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy. I think that's everyone kind of takes their own path to get to that understanding of Jesus, and how you get there and what path you take. I think also like kind of plays a role in how you can use your story to help other people find Jesus, you know? And that was a big part of me wanting to start a sober living home and just start sharing my story with other addicts, and just wanting to share that strength, hope, and experience with other people. You know, so I did the treatment thing for 1.5 years, and then my cousin, who is a pretty successful entrepreneur, I talked to him about the idea of starting a sober living, and he was down for it. So at this time too, I'd found an amazing woman in my life.
Yeah, where did you meet her?
So I was working at a restaurant up in Prescott. This was about, I want to say like about 1 year or so into my recovery, maybe 8 months or so. But yeah, she was hired, and I just like began kind of training her a little bit and got to know her really well. And I just, you know, could just tell she was like such a kind-hearted soul, you know what I mean? And just wanted to kind of get to know her a little bit more. And I think we had a Christmas party at the Gabby's Grill was the restaurant we worked at. And
Mention Christmas parties.
don't mention Christmas parties. Oh, yeah. One of my old work Christmas parties, that was crazy. Yeah. Are you referring to that?
Yeah, where like they made a meme of me.
Yeah, they did make a meme of you. Yeah, that was a crazy story. But no, I met her at the place I worked, and then we, you know, I asked her out, and we started dating. And after about 1 year of getting to know her, her family, and actually kind of like helping her a little bit, I would say, like, because she was kind of in a spot where she was like kind of unsure where her life was headed, it seemed like. And I think she also had a lot of like trauma that she was dealing with. And I was in this spot in my recovery where like I was like on fire for my recovery and on fire for Jesus and God. And like, I think like she could see that. And I think we both kind of like helped each other to like grow closer to God and to Jesus. And we, you know, started going to church together. She would start going to some meetings with me together. And then she would eventually just end up quitting drinking too altogether as well, because that was also kind of, I don't know if she would consider herself like a full-blown alcoholic or anything, but she definitely saw it like as an issue in her life. And so like we kind of grew together in that aspect and towards Jesus and God together. And yeah, now we're getting married in a couple months. Just crazy to think that 2.5, 3 years ago, like I was on the verge of death. And now, like 2.5 years later, I'm about to get married, about to start a family, have a good career in front of me, like have a good relationship with Jesus. Like I'm involved in the church, playing in band and playing in worship. Like, and just that short span of 2.5 years after I accepted Jesus in my life, he's like completely transformed everything, you know? So.
Yeah. Like praise
kinda,
Jesus.
Yeah. Amen.
Yeah. It's incredible.
Yeah.
So now you're playing in the worship band, drums, bringing it all back.
Yeah.
And
it's nice
like
because
full circle. Yeah.
it's nice because I think like music's obviously been a huge part of my life for a long time. We were in bands together. We've recorded tons of music. And I think like I always looked at music as like, oh, like I really enjoy music. I love everything about it. And I love, you know, the idea of the clout, and like that was originally what it was, like the clout and like the eyes on me that could come from it, or like things like that. But now it's nice to do it for God and for Jesus, you know what I mean? That gives a whole nother meaning to the music.
Because you're playing in worship, but then you're also recording
Yeah.
your own covers of worship music.
Yeah.
And I mean, even through Addiction, all that, you were writing Addiction songs.
I was writing a little music during Addiction. It
sober
wasn't...
songs, or attempt to be sober songs of.
Yeah, I did. So like at treatment, or like in rehab, like I'd be blessed to be in a rehab where, here's another thing too that I think is like, in looking at God's plan in my life, is like, I'd say 95% of the rehabs I went to, they all had a guitar there, or like some sort of musical instrument that I could play with while I was there. And I just think that was like, looking back even now, like it's like a sign that, you know, like God was like, hey, you know, I know this is like part of your purpose. Like I'm going to place it here, like in these spots, like where you're trying to get help and where you're trying to find me. Like, here's something you love. You know what I mean? Like a good father would do for their son.
Yeah,
you know,
like your father did.
Yeah, like, here, I know you love guitar.
Because he gave you
He gave me my first guitar. Taught me how to play guitar.
And stuff.
Yeah, my first drums. So like God always made sure that I had some sort of musical instrument or someone I could play music with, like in treatment, you know, and relate on that aspect, which is kind of cool to think about too.
Yeah.
You know?
And now you play music for the Father.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. But yeah, I like recording music. I, at one point, you know, had a whole studio set up mainly at the house, and then my addiction took over and I started selling everything off one by one, my drums.
Except those microphones I still have from you.
Yeah.
Which you're not getting back.
No, yeah, never give those back to me, bro.
You just sell them for drugs. No, I'm just kidding.
Nah. But yeah, that was I guess the last thing that I didn't sell off for drugs were those microphones.
Yeah.
But I'm sure you probably gave me $20 from or something that I probably bought drugs with.
No.
I just gave them to you.
I think so. Or you just left them here.
I probably just left them.
And I'm keeping them as collateral.
Kept them as collateral for something, yeah. But no, yeah, now I've been able to at least get a minimal recording setup back up, which is nice.
Yeah. What would you say that would be? What is like the most minimal
so for me
setup you can have?
Me right now, it's literally a one condenser mic, one dynamic mic. I literally bought just the Focusrite studio pack, like the 2 in, 2 out Focusrite Scarlett.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That seems to be a very popular
Yeah.
interface. Everyone's got that one.
I love the Scarlet.
That's like what, $120? You probably get it used for 50 or something.
I found mine refurbished, so it's like they have like a bunch of different generation ones. So I think mine was the newest generation, and I think I got the package for like 250 refurbished, but it came with headphones, the condenser mic, and the USB interface. And then it also has a lot of like free software, which is kind of nice too, and plugins that come with it that you can get off the Focusrite website.
Okay. Is it like a recording software?
So it's recording software, but the ones I use are like they have like free auto tune on there, free EQ, some good like synthesizers. You get Nexus and Massive and stuff like that. So they give you a lot of good free stuff. Yeah, just from.
I'm gonna have to go buy one.
Yeah, it's almost worth it for just the plugins, honestly.
Yeah, because you were using Massive a lot.
Yeah.
For that dub.
For the beats, yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I like to.
And then you got a computer.
Yeah,
obviously.
just a laptop, just nothing crazy. I want to expand my setup a little bit more, but I mean it works for me for now.
Yeah, to track some vocals and guitar.
Yeah, I do want to. My next buy for sure is going to be a MIDI USB keyboard. I've been procrastinating. I really need to get a MIDI USB keyboard.
Are you gonna get like just like a little 12 key or whatever it would be, or like
I think
full or 40, 488 or whatnot?
Yeah, I think I want to get at least 40, like the 44 key one. I think. I like a little bit bigger of a keyboard. So, because like now right now I use Fruity Loop Studio. I've been using that one forever. Obviously, I think for me it's just the interface I'm used to and everything to make beats, but. Yeah, right now I'm going to the piano roll and like keying everything in, and sometimes I actually use my laptop keyboard.
Yeah,
to play it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Especially if you're doing a keyboard.
Yeah, so you can like plug in the keys on your laptop keyboard as actual to send to the MIDI synthesizer that you're using.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, but I want to get a real keyboard.
Yeah, because like I always do it like you just with the mouse plug in your notes. It's like there's no heart and soul to it. It takes forever.
And it takes
it's
forever.
nice just to like hit play and then rhythmically do what you need to do.
Exactly. Yeah. So, but yeah, I think it would be like, I don't know, I want to experiment with, because obviously like I love making electronic music and like dance music. And I think that's like a really popular, like probably one of the most popular genres of music right now.
An IT friend of mine
popping off
sent me some Christian like dubstep dance music, club music.
Yeah,
it's
it
kind of funny because like it's the music you'd be listening to like out at a festival or getting high to,
right?
But then it's just like Jesus. Like, you know. Well, in the words, like they just have like those like little bits of lyrics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like in between kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I think it would be, I think it'd be really cool because, yeah, like at those festivals, like I love electronic music, but the festivals are, crazy. I mean, yeah, people are using drugs, doing everything. You know what I mean? So to like maybe try to do like a Christian-based one or something, like a, you know, or like a group of people that rave sober. I mean, I went to, so when I proposed to my wife, or my soon-to-be wife, my fiance, I proposed to her at Decadence because we both like electronic music, and we decided, yeah, let's go to this big, you know, dance event on New Year's. It was just a lot for someone, you know. I mean, not that I had an urge to get high or anything, like at the festival, but like, what they say is like you stay at a barbershop long enough, you'll probably get your hair cut kind of thing. Just not a great environment to be in, like someone who's sober and like trying to change their life. But I love the music, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it would be great to be able to go
in a different kind of environment, you know what I mean? So just...
I can set up my PA system and we'll just blast music through it.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
It could be like going there.
Yeah, there you go. Wouldn't be quite the same. I mean, the main annoying thing is just like people are so high and out of their minds. They're just like, and it's like so crammed in there. You're like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
I wonder if it could be like a ministry.
Yeah. Like a rave ministry or something.
I'm sure there's got to be. I mean, the people are making the music, so there's got to be a festival of some sort out there.
Of course, yeah. I just haven't really heard of one, you know.
I'm currently talking with someone to actually do a music festival, so maybe we can throw that in there. That'd be cool.
Yeah, I think so too. Well, I think it's like, so I guess the reason I think about it is because I think it's a audience that probably needs to hear a message the most.
Yeah, definitely.
You know what I mean?
In a way that they'll listen.
Yeah. So because that's kind of what it was for me on the streets, you know, like and I was the audience that could only hear the message a certain way, and that was through another addict sharing with me, like Jesus, and, you know, same thing. Like it'd be like sharing the word of God through an avenue that people already enjoy listening to. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So that's kind of, I guess, the idea behind that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of it as like the Striker. Who was it? The metal band from way back that they kind of sound like Iron Maiden.
Oh, okay.
But Striper, yeah. But it's all Christian.
Yeah.
Super Christian, but it's super metal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, or like even
like
was it Metallica or like a few other bands, or was it? No, it was actually
Petra.
I think I just saw a documentary. Was it Korn or Slipknot?
Well, it might have been Korn. Drummer is now super Christian.
Yeah, yeah.
But they weren't when they were playing.
Right.
POD.
Maybe.
I believe was like subliminally Christian.
Yeah.
Like if you go back and listen, I'd have to go check that out.
Yeah.
But obviously then you've got like Creed and stuff like that are Christian rock.
Right.
Like super upfront about it. But it's like the subliminal ones.
Yeah.
That like get you when you're not paying it, least expecting it.
Yeah. But you haven't like heard, at least I haven't, you haven't heard of like a famously known Christian electronic producer or like electronic, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like electronic or like a rave, like a DJ. Like who's a self-pronounced Christian DJ? I don't feel like you ever really hear.
Yeah, not big enough to be.
So I feel like there's a gap.
Widespread, publicly known, yeah.
There's a gap there.
Yeah, there's a hole to fill.
Yeah.
Do it.
It'd be cool.
It would be cool. Yeah.
Just to go in like an environment like that where everyone's like going crazy, and then just to be able to, play music you love, but then also like share the word of God like through. I think that would be
just like slip
cool.
Right into like
slip it in, you know what I mean? Yeah.
With like those big old like screen effects.
Oh yeah.
Shows.
They always have crazy like
the
lighting and effects and different things on the screen,
You just put a big Jesus up there.
Yeah, a big cross,
Yeah. And it's like wow 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 wow.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, beatbox it.
Like a for Jesus, something like that.
Exactly. Dude, I could just listen to you probably talk about crazy stuff on the streets.
I know, bro. That's really the crazy stuff right there.
Yeah.
I could just blast off a couple other stories, I guess.
Like no pillow?
No pillow. Literally just nodding out. So, okay.
Did you like sleep sitting up?
I'd sleep sitting up. I'd sleep standing. I once fell asleep while I was running.
Jeez.
No joke.
Just kind of like
I once fell
half
asleep.
your brain is running, half your brain is sleeping.
Yeah, I fell asleep while I was running. I woke up in a jog. I'm like, what am I doing? Where am I? And then I fell back asleep, and then I fell on my face and broke my front teeth.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Because you were up for
days.
Days.
For days. I hadn't slept in 2 or 3 days. You would, take the opiates to finally go to sleep. But like when you were too afraid to fall asleep on the streets, you would, take the uppers to stay awake, And when you're doing that for like 3 or 4 days straight, you know what I mean? Eventually your body just
can't take it no more.
gives out, and then you start waking up in random places. You start trying to figure out what reality is and what reality isn't. I once was staying at this random person's apartment for like a week or so, and this guy was gay, and like I had led him on to believe that I was bisexual in order to make him let me stay at his apartment, you know, to have a free place to live kind of thing for like a week. And he would buy me drugs and do whatever, you know what I mean? I once was up for 6 days. I think the most I was up for was 6 or 7 nights in a row without sleep. 7 days, like a whole week without sleep. And I was in a like 2-mile radius of his apartment. I got lost for 6 days. I couldn't find his apartment. You know what I mean? Like I was just wandering around lost for 6 days, not knowing if I was dreaming or if I was awake. And I would just wake up in random spots. I woke up in the middle of the street with one shoe on, and then my other shoe was like in the middle of the street, and then I had cops walking up to me like, "Sir, stop, sir, stop." And they were like, "Is that your shoe in the middle of the street?" I was like, "Yeah, that's my shoe." And like I somehow like snapped back into like sobriety, like when I seen those cops. And then I was like, "Yeah, like I'm just going through a rough time, like I'm trying to get back into treatment," kind of thing. And like they let me go somehow.
Is it illegal to be on drugs? Was it just illegal to have the drugs?
No, it's mainly,
or they just leave you alone?
The cops like really they mainly leave you alone unless you're like shoplifting or trespassing. It really just depends what kind of police officer that you run into.
And how much of a nuisance you are.
Yeah, essentially. But most of them don't care. Like, I mean, I had been stopped with drugs on me and they've thrown them away kind of thing. Yeah, I got caught shoplifting at a Walmart, and I had probably like 200 pills on me and like a few grams of meth, and they took me to jail or whatever, but I got out the next day, and like they actually never filed charges against me for that because it was during COVID. So I got like, at that point in time, they weren't filing charges. They were like letting people out of jail and stuff and like being more lenient because of the whole COVID thing. So I got really lucky with that one.
So what was COVID like then for you while you're
in jail?
Because, yeah, in jail or just on the streets while COVID's going on?
I didn't give a shit.
Yeah.
I didn't. You know what I
Were
mean?
people going around talking about COVID?
No, people were talking about
getting high.
Getting high.
Okay.
Getting drugs. You know what I mean, a little bit probably was talked about COVID, but, you know.
Like what the world is going on outside of your world. Like there's something out there.
Yeah.
And the world's going crazy and there's like no more cars on the street.
Oh, it wasn't like necessarily like that because like people were still out there. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So.
Was it bad for business?
Was it bad for business?
Yeah.
COVID?
Yeah.
Oh, like standing on the side of the street? Business?
I guess that too, yeah. Like there probably wasn't as many people out driving.
Probably not, no.
So your panhandling probably didn't do so well.
Yeah. So this is how messed up my addiction was. I caught COVID, and I was in Prescott at the time with COVID. So actually, when I caught COVID, I went to I went to Detox, and they were doing COVID tests and everything. They gave me a COVID test. I was positive for COVID. They kicked me out of Detox, sent me to the hospital. The hospital was like, "Why did you send him here? Like he should be quarantined and like isolated in a room." The hospital kicked me out of the hospital, and then I called around to every rehab in the area, and I was blacklisted because I had COVID. They wouldn't let me in. So I called my mom. I'm like, "I have COVID and I have nowhere to go. They just kicked me out of the hospital. They just kicked me out of Detox, and I'm detoxing terribly, you know?" And so she had to buy me a hotel room to quarantine in for 2 weeks in Prescott.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Like a Motel 8?
Yeah, like a motel up in Prescott. The first motel she got, they found out I had COVID somehow. Like, because Prescott's such a small town, and I think I was like one of the first people to get COVID. And they kicked me out of that hotel. So I had to go to a different hotel. Like, it was a crazy experience.
What was your symptoms like?
The symptoms, it was just, felt like dope sickness, but times two. You know what I mean?
Okay.
It was like, I was more dope sick than I was COVID sick, I think.
Yeah.
So.
It's 'cause, like, how'd you know you had COVID? Like, you were like getting like the flu, or?
I had no clue, honestly. I just know I was.
Or you didn't know you had COVID? You got tested?
No, I was tested positive for COVID. I didn't feel like I had COVID though. I just
At the rehab?
At the rehab, yeah.
Okay.
At the detox that I went to, yeah.
Okay.
So.
And then they put you to hospital.
Put me to the hospital.
And then you got dope sick.
Yeah.
So you didn't really have any symptoms from COVID?
If I did, I couldn't tell because I was dope sick.
Well, they actually do the PC test, the swab, whatever.
Yeah, I'm not sure what it was at that time.
It gives false positives all the time, so you probably never had it.
Oh no, I definitely had it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like they did like 2 or 3 different tests.
Okay.
Yeah.
PCR. I don't remember what it's called.
I don't remember, but.
Okay.
I think it was a swab probably. So I guess it could have been a false positive.
Yeah.
Either way.
And then you just got dope sick.
Yeah. I mean, I felt like it was longer and like heavier than a normal dope sickness, so probably, probably good chance
You
I
were
had
still
COVID.
using while you were sick?
Yeah, so
when you could.
I couldn't. I mean, at that point, what am I going to do locked up in a hotel room by myself with COVID for 2 weeks? Gonna use, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
All my words fall short. I got nothing new. How could I express all my gratitude? I could sing these songs as I often do, but every song must end, and you never do. So I throw up my hands, praise you again and again, 'cause all that I have is a hallelujah, hallelujah. And I know it's not much, but I've nothing else fit for a king, except for a heart singing hallelujah, hallelujah. I've got one response, I've got just one move, with my arms stretched wide, I will worship you. So I throw up my hands, praise you again and again, 'cause all that I have is a hallelujah, hallelujah. And I know it's not much, but I've nothing else fit for a king, except for a heart singing hallelujah. get shy on me, lift up your song, 'cause you've got a lion inside of those lungs. Get up and praise the Lord. Come on, my soul, oh, don't you get shy on me, lift up your song, 'cause you've got a lion inside of those lungs. Get up and praise the Lord. So I'll throw up my hands and praise you again and again, 'cause all that I have is a hallelujah, hallelujah. And I know it's not much, but I've nothing else fit for a king except for